What is up, you guys? It is your boy, Keep It Real. I hope you guys are having a phenomenal weekend, that your weekend is amazing. And now, if you did not hear, Jim Ryan, PlayStation CEO, current CEO, is finally stepping down. And the reason that I seem so happy is because I truly am. Since he took charge, PlayStation has felt like it's been so proprietary and things are raising in price with pretty much no justification. For example, the PlayStation Plus system raised its prices, but with what justification? What product was given to us that explained the reason for that price hike? Oh, we got Callisto Protocol coming out on PS Plus, but who cares? They took a ton of games out of the PlayStation Extra and Premium. So, what did they truly bring to raise the prices? I don't know. Jim Ryan does. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm happy that this guy is potentially losing his job because he's not. He's stepping down. So it's not saying that he's completely quitting from being part of PlayStation. It's just saying that he's stepping down from the CEO position. And you know what? I'm kind of glad. I hope they put somebody who is very game focused, bringing us a lot of good content, bringing us a lot of things that expand the PlayStation community, because that's truly what we need right now. It feels like PlayStation releases games, but what do we get as players when we subscribe to their service? That is the target that I wish that Sony would just target, just hit it on the head, because Xbox, for all the crap they get, when you purchase the Game Pass, you get games. You get brand new releases. And Xbox's reasoning for that is for player access. With another CEO, PlayStation could be at the top. Not necessarily that they're not, but at the top of everything related to games. But because the current CEOs and people talking about this stuff haven't taken that leap to connect everybody, to give a subscription service that is truly worth it, Sony has been laughed at because of their just faulty attempt of what the Game Pass is. I'm not praising Xbox because they definitely have their wrongs, and PlayStation is amazing and releases amazing games. I have the God of War, Spider-Man 2 is coming out. So please, that is not the argument I'm trying to say. I'm saying that by Sony being run by the wrong person, it can lead to a lot of devastation for players such as me and yourself. Now let's read on Polygon why exactly Jim Ryan is stepping down. Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO and President Jim Ryan is retiring from his position leading the PlayStation business, Sony announced Wednesday. Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier first reported the news Wednesday afternoon before Sony published its news release. Ryan will step down in March 2024 after 30 years at Sony and PlayStation. Again, it's not saying he's quitting, it's just saying he's stepping down. So, yeah, they make it seem so dramatic, but he might literally just be going right under. He might still be right under the next CEO, you know. Sony Group Corporation President and Chief Operating Officer Hiroki Totoki will lead Sony Interactive Entertainment as interim CEO, and that's another point I want to hit on. This man already is a top dog. He's already got a lot on his plate, and then you make him interim CEO. What if it takes them another year? What if it takes them a lot of months and he's not able to balance that? I'm sure he will be, but I'm speaking what if. I have no disbelief that Totoki will do his job because he's been doing a great one. So let's keep reading. He will lead the Sony Interactive Entertainment as interim CEO starting on April 1st, 2024. Ryan cited difficulties in striking the right balance between his home in the UK and his job in the US as a factor in his decision to retire. And that is hey, if you have a bad work-life balance and in your life, or in the position you're at, you're able to make that leap to make it more comfortable for yourself, props to you. Do it. Make your life as happy as you can possibly have it, because you only live once. So to slave away for a company that isn't giving you time to stay at home, because he could completely do this job, probably mostly online, but they won't let him because he's CEO. He's got to be present. So he's having a hard time balancing. So let's read on what he says. I feel humbled at having the opportunity to lead a company delivering products that touch millions of lives. Correct. Ryan, you did. For all the bad that I just talked about you, like I said, you did deliver some high quality product. And I should know that Sony looks at their exclusives because they rarely miss. But let's not Let's not say they don't miss, because they do. Ryan said in his announcement on the corporate PlayStation website, from award-winning games to the incredibly immersive technical achievements delivered with PlayStation 5, I'm immensely proud of what we have achieved and very optimistic for the future of Sony Interactive Entertainment. Sony has not immediately responded to Polygon's request for the comment. He's just not. Why PlayStation doesn't want to talk to you about this? It's really not as big of a deal as people are making it out to be, but it might be if the wrong or the best person possible takes that position as CEO, because PlayStation could completely change in the next decade due to who gets chosen. Take for instance what happened to Disney. Things change, people change, ideas change, and the core values may get altered. Let's keep reading. Ryan stepped into the top role at Sony's PlayStation division in 2019, so he's been there for 4 years, going on 5. When he took over for former president John Codera, Codera at the time became deputy president before leaving the company in 2021. Ryan started in Sony in 1994. Holy smokes. When he joined the company's European operations at what was then called Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. So basically, he just wants a better work-life balance. Respect your decision. Don't mean to talk down to you, but I'm kind of glad you're gone. Who is PlayStation's new CEO, Hiroki Totoki? Let's talk about Totoki a little bit, because he's going to be interim CEO for maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe a week. We don't know right now. We don't know who's going to be the next one. I hope it's Herman Holst, and we'll get into that in a second. After almost 30 years at Sony Interactive Entertainment, not to mention being president and CEO since 2019, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan has announced his retirement, blah, blah, blah. Then he will hand it. Sony Group Corporation president and COO, Chief Operations Officer Hiroki Totoki on the April 1st, 2024, who will take on the role of interim CEO until Sony Interactive Entertainment finds a suitable successor. In addition, Totoki will become chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment as soon as next month, ahead of Ryan's departure. So he's going to have a lot of on his plate. He's going to have time to brainstorm, talk to other people in PlayStation, and see what's the best road to take. So just give this man a little bit of time. Let's see what he dishes out in the future months. Let's see what happens when March arrives and Jim Ryan steps out. I just want to see where Sony ends up in the future. This is the man. This is the man. And I know I shouldn't be asking for this. But Herman Holst, that man, when he speaks about games on any video that you look up, he looks enthusiastic. Now, I couldn't say the same about Jim Ryan, and that's why I was hesitant at first. Because Jim Ryan speaks like a businessman. Herman Holst speaks like a gamer. Speaks like he's talking to us. And again, Jim Ryan, you did your time. You did it, man. Thank you for all that you've brought. But I'm glad you're out. I'm glad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. So let's just read about this man. It's been about 17 months since Herman Holst took the reins of PlayStation Studios, the international network of world-class development studios that produce some of the PlayStation's biggest hit. Blah, blah, blah. Herman, let's see how he talks. Do you see single-player narrative games as essential to the PlayStation Studios console experience? Let's see what he says in response to this question. Absolutely. Single-player narrative-driven games, that's our DNA. PlayStation Studios have made, in my mind, some of the most memorable narrative experiences available. We love making them, and we'll keep making them as long as gamers enjoy them. For me, the idea of sitting down on a Friday night with a brand new cup of tea, a brand new world, and a great story to explore, that sounds pretty perfect, right? We also want to make sure that we're creating a variety of experiences for our audiences, franchises, new IPs, big games, smaller and more innovative games, single-player stories, and multiplayer. Who says multiplayer experience cannot have great stories? This is why I'm saying that I hope that this man becomes CEO. Just the way he's, relating to us as gamers and saying that they're wanting new things, and he's not even CEO. It just goes to show you that there are people that are at this close to changing the complete atmosphere of what Sony has become. PlayStation has lost what it once was, as I stated before, and it's become very proprietary. Again, with that PlayStation Plus, the games being $70, and they're being very hard on exclusives. Again, I'm not saying that Xbox is better, but at least their exclusives come on PC at launch. That's a thing that I like to mention. At least when they release their games, they come out on launch and you can see what exactly they deliver. So let's see what next March holds. Don't get too angsty. Don't get too angry at Jim Ryan. Don't get too happy like I did, because we don't know what he might say. Never mind. We don't know with these big corporations. With all that being said, guys, remember to leave a like and subscribe, and have a phenomenal weekend.